Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining me, and for those watching on replay, I really appreciate your time to join us. So this is a session about holistic business, and just as an introduction to this, so there's a little bit of participation, and there's a little bit of position for you to think and give some feedback. So first of all, a little bit about me. So I'm still admitting people in from the waiting room. So a little bit about me. So I worked 18 years in an international corporate environment in global HR roles, global technology leader, and Europe and Africa operations manager. And really what I learned from this career is change, and how we can manage change, and what processes we have at our fingertips to enable us to become more comfortable with change. And I have adapted businesses through three major downturns. So I don't refer to the words pivot anymore. For me, this is business as normal. You should be constantly adapting your business and looking for new ways to become more efficient, so that any challenging environments that your business will experience, you'll come out stronger on the other side. So moving forward, I have a little bit of a poll. So hopefully I can, pull one. If I can get it up, here we go. So you can, for those that are watching it on replay, the question is there. If you could just put your tick the box that is most relevant. So there's two polls. One, running your business day to day. How much of your time per month do you feel like you're in firefighting mode? So that's reacting more than going through your planned tasks. Is it mostly constantly, a few times a week, or maybe just a couple of times a month? And the second poll is, how efficient do you feel you are with your time? Are you constantly distracted? You're task focused in the morning, but then get distracted later in the afternoon? Your to-do list never shrinks, or I am on it, I have a plan, and I am sticking to it. So we'll come back to those later on in the session, okay? So let's go to the next one. So in business, sometimes if you think about the analogy with the barrel with all the different holes and all the water coming out of it, and sometimes there's just too many holes to plug. And if you think of your business like this, sometimes there's just too many fires to fight, and it can all become a little bit overwhelming. And so this is really what holistic business is about. It's giving you some skills to be able to reduce the impact of the fires, try and manage and eliminate some of the fires, help you to identify if you leave it smoldering for a while, can you manage on for a while and address it later, or is it really something urgent that you need to do now? So one of the first tools that I believe that you really should do if there's any fire or something has come up in business is to breathe. Take a moment. Don't jump straight in. When you jump straight in, you're reacting. You're using the animal part of your brain. And really what you want to do is train yourself to look at it objectively and not emotionally. So when something happens for me personally, I need 10 breaths. 10 can be quite a lot, and everybody's different, but I believe that each of us has our sweet spot. So whether it's 3, whether it's 5, whether it's 15, I think that it's important that we find what's our sweet spot and use that as a practice whenever anything happens that is unplanned within our life. So with respect to your business, we all need a strategy. You need to have thought about where you want your business to go. And for me, what I believe in business, your strategy is your foundation. So once you have that strategy, then you can go down the journey of holistic business. So you've got your strategy, you've got your plan, you're doing awesome, and this is your big picture, part of your strategy, and it can be a to-do list, either a weekly one or your daily to-do list. But how many of those tasks get done? How many of those tasks on your to-do list are reactionary, something that needs to be done urgently rather than something that's a component of your strategy? Is this a fire point or something you need to bring in a specialist or you need some support with, part of a larger problem? The majority of our solutions or ways we look at it are surface level. We quite often in business, when we're looking at reactions, we look at it in a band-aid style. And humans, we default to what we know. We know we have areas in the business that we're good at and we enjoy, and areas of the business that we're less enjoyable or we're less knowledgeable. And we inadvertently ignore these. It's okay, I'll put it off till tomorrow, or I'll add it to the bottom of my to-do list, and then it never gets done, and it never gets done. And what this does is it creates a little fire, and it also builds silos. Think of it as separate boxes within your business. So you have all the pieces of the puzzle, but it's not putting it together. You're delinking the puzzle, and you're creating more fires, more reactionary situations that's going to pull you away from growing and developing your business in line with your strategy. So here, this is a holistic map, and it's really just to demonstrate to you that all the functions within business are linked. So if my business sells something, I touch logistics, I touch the website, I touch social media, I touch the invoicing, I touch the marketing, I touch the supply chain, it touches the cash flow, it touches the contracts, it touches the user experience, it touches the employee experience. Everything is linked. And it's really important to understand that everything is linked, because when you have a fire and you put that Band-Aid over it to stop it, it's going to flare up somewhere else. And quite often that fire is really just a symptom that is attributed to a root cause, and you're not addressing the root cause. So can you leave that fire to smolder for a couple of days until you investigate the problem properly to identify that root cause, to find out if there's a bigger problem here and how can you fix it? So what is the holistic value proposition? It's when you're looking at the details, when you're looking in at the fire, business is chaos. When you zoom in and you're focused on it, business is chaos. And it's impossible to understand the impact of the actions that you're going to make in that zoomed in way on the rest of the business. You need to zoom out. And when you zoom out, you could have a mural masterpiece. You need to embrace the uncomfortable side of your business. You don't have to become an expert in everything, but you need to understand well enough to spot the issues when they're small before they become major infernos. You need to understand enough to appreciate that these issues impact other parts of your business and have the potential to become major issues. So I've got some examples. We have 3 case studies that we're going to go through quickly here. And you can either type in the comments, which I should be able to see in the chat. I can bring up the chat box. So you can either put your answers out or you can unmute, okay? I do have a little bit of an answer. And there isn't a single answer because obviously there's always situational components to it. So case study number 1, you have what you believe is an amazing body butter product. You sell it on your website and in some local physical stores and at a major supermarket, and you get extra kudos if you can guess the supermarket. You're starting to have a cash flow issue as the supermarket are not paying you. You're being paid for the items sold, not the inventory on hand that you're sending to them. Sales from your website and your local stores are unaffected. What could be the problem and what could you do? So does anyone have any suggestions on that?
Sorry, Alison, I'll jump in there. So
yeah.
Possibly the issue with the supermarket is visibility. Like it's not in an obvious place, or they're not pushing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, because with the major supermarkets, you're not guaranteed the POV or the point of sale or the point of visibility that you have when they first introduce a new product. And so quite often over time, they replace your product with the next new product, and you go up the shelf or down the shelf or to another section of the supermarket. And that's really important. And it's making sure that you have that communication with the supermarket reps to make sure that you can keep those good places. So a couple of other points is that it could be that you deliver your product to the major supermarkets distribution center. Maybe their logistics company is not able to move it from the distribution center to the supermarkets. Maybe it's your logistics company that are telling you that they're delivering it, but actually there's a massive delay there. We all know how long during the pandemic over the last 2 years, how long it's taken some deliveries to get. I mean, I ordered stuff from Decathlon about 6 months ago, and I still haven't got it. The other thing is, especially during times of change, it could be that the major supermarket is stockpiling your product in their distribution center because they're going to put it online on their website as people move to online shopping. And so they're stockpiling it so that they can send it where it needs to go rather than putting it in front of clients. I think one of the other major things that people should think about in these examples is how much of your business are you putting in with the one major supermarket versus what you're selling locally and on your website, because you do not want to put all your eggs in one basket. What happens if all of a sudden that major supermarket doesn't want to stock your product anymore? Are you going to go back to ground zero, or how are you going to manage on that? So you need to be a little bit cognizant of those factors, okay? So example number 2, you just added a part-time member of staff to manage your social media. And this has driven up sales a lot over the last 3 months through your website. This is a different product, by the way. You have taken on more staff to help produce the product and have introduced a second new product, which is also selling really well. Your sales are through the roof of both products, but you're struggling to pay your suppliers at the end of the month. The bank just always seems empty. Should you up the unit price of each product? What do you think? So my feedback would be you need to investigate, okay? When you're scaling up and you're obviously getting more sales, are you leveraging that to get efficiencies within your business? So when you talk to your suppliers, if I sold glasses and all of a sudden tomorrow I'm selling 300% more glasses, that raw material, I should be going back and renegotiating contracts for my increase of volume with the supplier and getting more efficiencies and a cheaper price, volume discounts, okay? You should be talking about logistics companies. Can you get a volume discount similar to Anpost that offer, if you buy 20 bags, shipment bags, you get them cheaper than if you buy them individually. Volume discount is something that you have to ask for, but it's something that can really streamline your business. So it's really important as well to work out the actual production cost of each product. So that's how much of your time, how much of your staff's time, what's the electricity, what's the manufacturing process, what's the logistics cost, what is the actual cost of producing that with respect to the price that you're selling at? Because sometimes if you have multiple products within your portfolio, one might be extremely profitable and masking the fact that you're not even covering costs with some of the others. And so it's really important to understand the profitability of each of your products, okay? And then finally, the last example is in the service sector. So you provide a service. An acquaintance in your network just asked you to collaborate with them. I will champion you and bring you business if you do the same for me. I can use your content and you can use mine. You think this is a great idea for your visibility, and they're in your network, so you can trust them with a handshake agreement. Soon after, you see that they've posted on LinkedIn about a webinar they're hosting, but you see some of the material is yours. And this is a webinar that attendees pay to attend. What can you do? And I think Sonia's face there just says it all. I love that. Exactly. Once it's happened, there's very little you can do. But what you need to make sure is that no matter if yes, you'd be well, I like that, Aoife, as well. And you should be, because that's completely unacceptable, right? And there goes all of the trust. Now, you'll see all of my slides all have this: all content remains the property of Iden Consulting, not to be copied or used without written agreement, right? Every slide, everything should have this just as a little small note on the side. And that gives you protection, okay? A lot of protection, even if it's not copyrighted or trademarked content, that gives you a lot of protection legally, okay? You shouldn't, if in situations like this, even if it is a handshake agreement, I would always follow that up with an email to say, look, just as per our discussion, this is my understanding, this is what you want, and this is what I will do for you, this is what you will do for me, and document it. And then say, if you agree with this, can you just respond back saying, yep, that's perfect, or whatever, because that then becomes a contract. So yes, it's not one that, your lawyer or your solicitor has validated, but that's still a contract of work, okay? And there is still some legal protection attributed to that, because those are terms that you have mutually agreed in writing by both parties. But it's not as formal as, getting them to sign, the 50-page terms and conditions contract, okay? The other thing that you can do, instead of asking people to review your 10-page terms and conditions, is put them on your website and then have a little tick box to say, to confirm that they have read your terms and conditions, which can be found on your website, okay? That puts the onus on the buyer and not to yourself, okay? So these things are all simple ways. Can you recover that situation? No. But you can just take it on the chin and learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen in the future. And in that situation, certainly I would be having a conversation with the person to say, do you know what, that's not cool, okay? So as we come to the end, a little bit of takeaways, okay? So in these situations, ask yourself, if I stop what I'm going to do and extinguish this fire, what is going to be the outcome for my business? Or I know I have a problem in this area, but am I missing anything in my blind spot? And my blind spot is where I'm not comfortable, I'm not interested, or I don't want to know about those bits of the business. But that's maybe where your fire is coming from every time. And then the third point is, every time I change or adjust something, step back. What else has changed? It's a little bit like every action has a reaction. And it's the same in business. Every time you change something within your business, Is that going to impact your buyers? Is that going to impact your pricing? Is that going to impact your social media presence? Think about it. Think big picture. Zoom out. Always consider the big picture impact. So I really thank you for your time today. It maybe went a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I appreciate that you've all hung around. So I can be contacted at alison@idone.ie. We are running a masterclass, which is a bit of more of a deep dive, which is 4 one-hour sessions run over 4 weeks, starting on the 11th of May. And it's just a little bit deeper dive into some of the concepts. And as a reminder, we offer 45-minute free consultations to discuss your business and how you can grow within your business. I really appreciate your time today. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them now or take them offline. Okay, Liam. Thank you so much. This session, once it has been, now it has been recorded, will be made available on my website and shared with you all as well. And if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to reach out.